I wonder how hard it is to make a little pull saw from scratch. Welcome back to EK Shop. Today I'm going to be trying to make a little pull saw similar to this one. I picked this one up from Harbor Freight for, I think, $3, and it's one of my favorite saws I've ever bought, honestly. It's nice and compact, and the teeth are oriented in a fashion where it cuts on the pull stroke. One thing I don't like about it is how bendy this blade is. So today I'm going to attempt to make my own version. I'm going to be using 15N20, which is a high carbon steel with a high nickel content, and it is commonly used in making industrial sized bandsaw blades. So I feel like this is a good application for 15N20. Now I'll be using some ash for the handle. I do prefer the look of the Western style blades, where it tapers down and curves over. This is more traditional in the Japanese style saws, but I'm making my own version of a saw here. So I'm going to go with a similar profile to the Western saws. So here's the profile that I will be working with. Kind of looks like a weird, messed up kitchen knife at the moment. And I'm building it like I would any of my knives. I'm using a full tang to stiffen everything up. The entire thing will be heat treated, hardened and tempered. Now I will be filing the teeth to shape. Now I don't know if I will be able to get teeth this fine. As part of the reason this saw is so nice is because it just starts cutting so quickly with very little force because of how tiny these teeth are. I think I will be able to pull off the slight angle. You notice it is kicked back towards you, so when you pull, that's when it's cutting. Now, I might not be able to get the teeth the same size, but I think I will be able to angle them backwards. I think likely I will be able to file in teeth more around this size, which will make it a more aggressive saw than this one. But this is all just an experiment. I like trying to make new tools and new things. So I actually decided I'm just gonna go with the whole rip style theme here. After filing in the teeth, I mean, of course they are not perfect. They are not perfectly consistent, but they all are sharp. And a little test on my workbench showed me it's gonna cut already. Now, normally you would set the teeth, which is bending them away from like the body of the saw, just a degree or two. It's like thousandths of an inch. I don't really have a way to do that. I was gonna make a little jig to do it, but upon my own research, set is more important to some people with their saws than others. I'm gonna skip setting it and see what happens. I'm also not going to shape the teeth any more than I already have. So this is a rip style tooth. It's basically like a chisel that chisels through the wood. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. I'm gonna heat treat the saw. And we're gonna try it after I get the handle on there. I can always shape the teeth and change them afterwards. This is a saw, so it's not gonna be as hard as a knife. So I'm pretty confident these Japanese files I bought will be able to shape the teeth if necessary, post-hardening and tempering. So I am heating the saw blade up to 1480 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the austenitization temperature for 15 and 20. Normally I would temper it at like 350 degrees or less to get a nice hard knife, around 60 Rockwell. Because this is a saw and I'm gonna wanna be able to sharpen it in the future, I think I'm gonna temper it at 450 degrees, which will bring the Rockwell hardness down to around 57 or 58 Rockwell. It is a saw, so you don't want to be breaking off teeth while you're cutting wood and stuff like that. The saw started to warp because I couldn't fit the whole thing in my quenching oil bucket. So I'm letting it fully cool off in my vise so it stays straight. Then I'll temper it. So it definitely cuts, but it is binding up in the cut. So I do need to figure out how to set the teeth, just space them apart slightly so it doesn't bind up. Because it definitely cuts. But see, like right here, it's starting to bind up. And it gets super hard to push through, even though it cuts relatively well. So I do need to figure out how to set the teeth. But for now, I'm gonna get the handle going. So let's just compare a commercial saw versus my saw and get an idea for the difference in thickness. Now, visually I knew mine was much thicker to start, but this is the thinnest high carbon stock I had. Let's just get an idea here for how much I need to thin my saw out. So the commercial saw is about 0.03 inches. I have a feeling mine is double that. Close. Mine is 0.05 inches. So mine is just under a 1/16 of an inch, and this is about half of that thickness. So I think that is the next step, to thin out this saw blade very carefully on the belt sander. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's where this project ends. It's been a difficult project, honestly. Alright, so like I said, this pretty much wraps up this video and this project. I've taken this saw as far as I want to. It cuts rather aggressively, but it binds up. I thinned the blade out. I refined the teeth further than I originally planned on doing so, and well, I won it. I decided I wanted to try to make a saw, and I made a saw. It does work, not as well as I wanted it to, and I think that's largely because this stock is just too thick. And because I already hardened it, thinning it down took a very long time. So I do plan on making a saw again, and I'll make a new video then. So number one, I'm going to start with thinner stock next time. Number two, I might make the blade a little softer than I left it. This is about 58 Rockwell, and the teeth were just too strong for this tooth setter I picked up just for this project as well. I don't have weak hands by any means, but I was not able to push the teeth away to separate the teeth to any degree with this tool. Now, this is a cheap tooth setter. That maybe that's part of the problem. This was $15. But regardless, I was unable to set the teeth. I did not have the ability to set these teeth on this particular saw. So I'm not sure if exactly if it's the thickness, how hard it is. I'm not positive. I am not experienced enough making saws to know for sure at this moment in time. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It was a challenging project, and I learned a lot about saws that I did not know because I just decided to make a saw. I can't recommend these files enough. I picked these up on Amazon, and they are the best files I have ever used. So they're made in Japan, and they cut metal so well. It really made this project possible. It would have taken me an entire day of filing to get these teeth with your cheaper brand, like Husky files and stuff like that. So overall, I learned a lot. It's a cool project. It does work, not as great as I wish it would, but there's always next time. There's always that next saw I'll end up making. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, I'll see you.